Hey, man, that jumps on quick, doesn't it?
I'll wake
Uh,
you up quick.
good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Scott Luton, Clay Phillips, and Justin Daniels here with you on Supply Chain. Now, welcome to today's live stream. Clay, how you doing?
Great. Ready to talk some sports. About the
Love
only
it.
thing you can bring me on in front of the camera when it comes to our content.
That is
I've got
not true, but I'm glad you're here and wearing your national champion, 2 times national champions gear. Justin, how you doing?
Doing great today, Scott. Looking forward to our conversation today. Everything sports. How you doing?
Man, I love it. And you got your Packers gear, Brett Favre jersey, I think that is, and of
Yeah.
course the Bulls, the legendary Bulls trio behind you. So we're going to dive into that too. So Clay and Justin, one thing we're not going to talk about today is supply chain. That's right, folks. Today we're going to be taking a breather. We're going to be letting our hair down a little bit, and we're going to dive into the wide world of sports. Now, this is very intentional. We get a lot of feedback. We've done some supply chain nerds talk sports from time to time, and folks, I thought I was a sports fan, and then we found out across our global community, man, they love following and talking sports. So today we're going to talk with Clay and Justin and all of y'all out there. Want to get y'all's takes too. We're going to talk about NFL playoffs. We're going to talk about NBA here at midseason, get some picks there, and in what I think is the shortest season of all time, Clay and Justin, the Major League Baseball season. I think that's got the shortest break between the World Series and the kickoff of the next season. So spring training is right around the corner. Now, Clay, as I mentioned, you've got you're a alum and a big fan of the 2-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs with us here today, right? I bet you're still on cloud nine.
Yep, still feeling good. It's been a good couple of years for me as a Georgia fan, and then of course you can share those sentiments as a Braves fan. But it feels good to be back to back. We'll see if we can do it 3 times in a row.
Seriously, man, the engine y'all got over there in Athens, you're part of the odds-on favorite. We'll see. Now, Justin, as I mentioned, one of the world's, if not the world's, I think technically it's been verified that you're the world's biggest Green Bay Packers fan this side of the Mississippi, if I've got that right. Is that right?
That is correct. And I grew up on the Illinois-Wisconsin border. So tri-state area at Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Chicago. You're either a Packers fan or a Bears fan. And
Okay.
when you'd go out at night, your neighbor may be the Bears fan. So on Sundays, the relationship changed.
You got to play nice. You got to play
Yes.
nice in the neighborhood is what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to dive into y'all's sports perspective. Of course, me and Clay have been slacking about sports forever, as we've got some common themes we'll touch on. Also, big thanks to folks behind the scenes. Of course, Amanda is tuned in. As she mentions, we want to know who you are and where you're watching. Love to get your take as we talk through some of these sports leagues and championships. Of course, Catherine holding down the fort for us over on YouTube. I need to do some off-season training for my sports references, Catherine says. Hey, don't we all? Don't we all? We blink, and no longer was it just a couple of years ago that the Bills went through the 4 Super Bowls. It's been forever ago now. I've got to constantly update my sports references. Okay, but really quick, Clay and Justin, before we dive into our first topic, which is going to be all about Super Bowl and who's going to win and all that good stuff, let's pay some bills. Y'all good?
We're good.
So while we're not going to be talking about supply chain today, we talk about it nonstop, 24/7. And I want to share 3 events with all of y'all out there. We invite you to join us. So next week, we're talking about the domestic freight market with our friends at U.S. Bank and Vector Global Logistics. That's Wednesday the 8th at 12 noon. So y'all join us for that. The next day, on February 9th, we're going to be talking about automation projects, and in particular, how to ensure optimal results. And that's going to be with our friends at Bastion Solutions. And then finally, on February 22nd, we're going to be diving in to digital transformation with our friends from Next World. And I love this Lyle's title here. He says, Recovering Enterprise Software Executive. I love that. So I bet it's going to be a fun conversation. So we invite y'all to come out and join us for all of those conversations dealing with global business and global supply chain. It's just that today it's all about sports with my dear friends Clay and Justin. Okay, so now that we've paid some bills there, Clay and Justin, want to dive right in. So the big game is just a couple weeks away, right? So Super Bowl 57 is what we're on now, coming up in Glendale, Arizona on Sunday, February 12th. Of course, it goes without saying, you got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we get y'all's predictions, I'd love to get any thoughts about the championship games, right? You had the NFC, you had the Niners versus the Eagles in NFC. And then, of course, in the AFC, you had the Chiefs versus
Cincinnati.
Bengals. Yeah, Cincinnati. That's right. So, Clay, what was your favorite part of those games there? Which one?
Well, you had to, the Eagles and the 49ers. Now, not to say that the result might not have been similar, but you got to put a little bit of an asterisk there. The 49ers had a great season, had that acquisition of Christian McCaffrey, and then I believe won 12 straight with that rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy. Of course, news comes out that he actually tore his UCL during that game. You saw a cut scene of him talking to Kyle Shanahan, and you can see him say, "I can't throw the ball."
I didn't
so
hear
then
that.
Josh Johnson, 15-year journeyman comes in, and he gets concussed, and that was one of those calls from the press box saying, "Hey, his head hit the ground a little bit too hard. Get the medic team out there, go see what's up," and they pulled him. So they were, needless to say, pretty one-dimensional the rest of that game.
Oh, it's painful to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You felt bad for him, but the Eagles are, like I said, there's an asterisk there. The result might have been similar.
Well, we've all been watching football a long time, and I can never recall a game like that. And then you got to give it to Brock Purdy. I was surprised. I bet his agent wasn't, and I know he's a rookie, but I bet his agent did not want him back in that game hurt. Mm-hmm. But, man, watching him, what they were limited to, I saw him, I think, on one of his first plays back when he came back in the game. I saw him painfully try to throw a screen pass, and then I think that was the last attempt he ever made. So I hope he gets healed up. But what a great, quick assessment. Justin, talk to us about those championship games.
Yeah, I can same thing Clay was mentioning. It was difficult to watch. That was one of the most exciting games I was looking forward to, considering the previous weeks those games were really close, competitive. And as soon as when did that happen, Clay? Was that the first play or the second play in the game in which he got injured?
Yeah.
And how can you mentally recover, right? Mm-hmm. You're scrambling, you're trying to make these adjustments, and you could see the entire sideline just really, because there was so much on the line, and this young man had so much, not pressure, but the spotlight was on him.
Yep.
And everybody, and that changed the entire dynamic from that point forward.
Man.
And it was tough to watch, to see that, right?
Agreed.
Didn't have a chance to watch the other game. I was working. I did catch snippets of it. But I was hoping the Bengals would persevere. I know certain people may not hear that like it, but I love that quarterback. Everybody's calling him Joe Montana. He's going to be him. Excuse me, is it Burrows? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's something about that kid. He's got it. So
you're right.
That's my feedback.
And Clay, that was such a great game, that Bengals Chiefs game. I mean, after the Niners, I was like, man, that was a tough game to watch, because it wasn't close for the right reasons, right? For heartbreaking reasons. But the Chiefs and the Bengals made up for it in that second game, the AFC Championship, right?
Oh, and you just knew, right when you saw the matchup, you knew that it was going to come down to the last second. It was going to be a battle between Mahomes and Burrow. We got, everything that we bargained for there. And like Justin said, a couple members on our team were really happy. A couple were not so happy. We've got fans on both sides here at Supply Chain now. So needless to say, it's going to be a matchup for years to come. So that was a great installment.
Yeah.
Agreed. And we love them all. Greg's a big Chiefs fan. Trisha's a big Bengals fan. And I think they're going to have lots to cheer about over the next decade between how those teams are built.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's time to get y'all's bold predictions. So obviously the whole world loves Super Bowl Sunday, right? I think it's still the most watched TV event of the year, I believe. Mm-hmm. World Cup's got to be getting there, especially in the final maybe. But so everyone loves getting together and watching the teams. That even if you're a Falcons fan, I'm a bandwagon Falcons fan, and had a lot to cheer about. And of course, the last time, which we're not even going to go there. But let's get your bold, fearless prediction. And Clay, I'm going to put you on the spot first. So Super Bowl 57, you got the Chiefs, you got the Eagles, you got two great teams. What's your call?
Yeah, I think it's the Chiefs. I think they come out on top. They've been there, done that. Andy Reid's got a ton of experience. The Eagles are kind of similar to the Bengals. They're new kids knocking on the door, a lot of youth there. I think Jalen Hurts is here to stay as well, but I think that the Chiefs get this one.
Okay. And I love by the way, you mentioned Jalen Hurts. I love his story, right? It's so cool to see him and his collegiate stops and then his professional stops and then him to have the opportunity to lead this rejuvenated Eagles team. I mean, this has been their best team in a couple of years. So that's pretty good analysis. Justin, what's your take? What's your bold, fearless take?
All right, here we go. Eagles. And the only reason why I say the Eagles, let me show something. Let me say, when was the last time the Chiefs and Eagles met in such a high stakes game?
True.
Andy Reid wanted that in Philadelphia bad.
Mm-hmm.
So did the city of Philadelphia with Andy Reid. Andy Reid had so much within the community in Philadelphia. He's already got it with KC.
Yeah. Oh, he's a legend now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So going into this game, what mind game is he playing? And how will that affect how he plays and coaches the game?
Yeah.
That's the only deterrent. I'm not looking at the players. I'm just looking at the coaching and what emotions will come about with Andy and how will that affect his coaching.
Yeah, that's a great call. I had forgotten Andy Reid. I mean, did so well in Philadelphia. I'd completely forgotten about that because I've already,
So
mentally
close.
Yeah, you're right. Who was that big receiver that got hurt in that one of the Eagles stretch? What was the guy's name? Well, we'll circle back on that. I want to share a couple of. I'm gonna give mine, but before I do, Gene is with us. Gino, great to see you here. Gino, what's your call? What's all of y'all's take? He's pulling for Jalen and Smitty, of course. So Gino, give us your take. Grayson says, great to see you, Grayson. Clay Phillips, smart man, because Grayson's also a big Chiefs fan. I think Grayson lives in the Kansas City area, if I'm not mistaken. And then one final comment here. Amanda says, I read the other day that Andy Reid is a winningest coach in Eagles history and could now be the winningest coach in Chiefs history too.
Yeah.
It's a great call out, man. We got our research team is bringing it here today. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I've got the Chiefs winning in a close game, or at least a good game. I'm not going to say close, a good game, as long as Patrick Mahomes, is in the game, right and upright. I was shocked to see the long drive by the journeyman when Patrick went down, and the guy they brought in, I can't remember his name, he went like 97 yards.
Yeah.
So as long as Patrick's healthy, he's in the game. It's remarkable how he bounced back in last game. So that's my talk. So we got two for the Chiefs.
I love Mahomes now, right?
Yeah.
I love Patrick. There's nothing to say against him. But
can't.
I got to go for the green here.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. All right. It's Clay and Justin. Thank y'all for indulging all of us with your big boldless picks. Do you want to give a shout out, Clay, to Grayson?
Oh, for sure. The whole sifted team there in KC. Yeah, I'm glad that we're on the same page there with the Chiefs. But you going with the Eagles, Justin. I don't think it would be a sports show without a little bit of debate. It's fun if we all agree.
That's right. That is right. And by the way, Grayson would love to get. I bet y'all gonna have a big spread for Super Bowl Sunday. I'd love to get a picture of that so we can share. If we don't get a picture, it didn't happen, as I hear. All right. So I want to move right along, move beyond Super Bowl 57, which is coming up. That's so crazy. I remember when we were in the 20s, right? And so I'm going to use that as a segue because I'm going to want all of y'all, Clay and Justin, to share some of your favorite Super Bowls. I'll share a couple first to get things going, to prime the pump a bit. So the Bears, of course, beating the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. Yes, that was Super Bowl 20. Which capped off that dominant 86 season. I think everyone in America loved that Bears team.
I was actually a Bears fan, man.
Really?
Yeah, don't tell that to any of my friends.
It's our little secret here.
It wasn't until I was in high school I became this.
Well, everybody in America loved that Bears team, right? From Mike Ditka to, of course, the Fridge, right? Who was a Clemson Tiger. And of course, he splashed on the international scene with that touchdown. That was a big season.
And if I may interject, I
Yeah.
should have brought, I have a picture of myself and both of them no longer here, Walter Payton in his trailer. My mom went and knocked on the door. Everybody was not around. She's like, I know that's his place. And we were at Platteville, Wisconsin, where they did their spring training. And I got pictures right with Walter Payton, still have it in my room.
Justin. All right. You got to bring that next time.
I
man.
I will.
Love Walter Payton. Everybody in the
sweetness.
world. Oh, now, so the 86 Bears team, right? That Patriots never had a shot in that game. And then how things change, huh? And then, of course, the Bills teams I mentioned in the early 90s, right? Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, James Lofton. And I really wish they had won. It's remarkable. Some of our listeners may not remember 4 straight Super Bowls. And I don't have the scores in front of me. I know the first one was just a field goal miss. They would have won the first one. But anyway, and there's a great documentary. Clay and Justin, have y'all seen 4 Falls of Buffalo?
I have not.
Okay, you got to check that out, Justin. Clay, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, okay. So it's an ESPN Films deal, which they do awesome content, and it basically is a documentary that walks through all 4 of those seasons and some of the backstories that were playing out, including some of the crazy things that happened during the Super Bowl. If y'all remember, Thurman Thomas, he lost his helmet. So I think he missed.
Right. I remember that.
So it's easy to forget.
Supply chain issues in the NFL.
Right. So y'all check that out. 4 Falls of Buffalo. So Clay, what are some of your favorite Super Bowls?
So recency bias is in play here. Obviously,
Yes.
as you mentioned, the ones that may not remember those Bills bowls. Yeah, I'm right here. I do know the story behind it, and that's incredible. 4 in a row, and you don't come home with one. But those poor fans. I guess that would probably be like the birth of the Bills Mafia. I mean, they had to do something.
Right.
So, but with me, this is going to be controversial, but I think I got to say when the Falcons made it, and the end result, that's kind of a non-factor to me at this point. It was awesome watching that team. I classify that as Matt Ryan's last ride. Those other couple seasons don't count. Watching him play with Julio and handing off to Devontae Freeman, and then we had some dogs on defense too. So that was a fun team to watch and a fun first half to watch. We all know what happened in the second half.
Man.
The second one is probably going to be, for me, it's got to be, I'm a big Tom Brady fan. So, we can't, not mention the retirement and the greatness. And I loved when he went to Tampa and won that one.
So did Florida. We love that too.
Yeah. Those top the list for me.
So, Justin, I'm going to come to you next, but really quick question, Clay, given where you ended that, is Tom Brady, both of y'all, up or down? Is he really retired for good, or do you think he's going to come back? Clay?
He might give us the old Brett Favre. Justin's wearing the jersey.
Right. All right.
Man, he's going to miss it, and I bet it's going to be hard for him. But I do got to say, I think he's done.
Okay. Justin, let's pick back up there. Your answer to that question. Is he out for good?
Yeah, I think mentally he wants to play, but I think physically he's ready to check out.
Okay. All right.
Even though he looks amazing, right? I mean, I wish I was in that shape at that age.
No kidding.
But yeah, he's out.
All right. So, Justin, Clay picked some great ones. And that Falcons game, making a Super Bowl, of course, is just so big, especially a sports town like Atlanta, right? Even though football or soccer, right? They've got a couple of championships there recently. Of course, the Braves won a couple here, and still the Braves are only major league franchise that won the World Series in 3 cities. But man, the Falcons and the Hawks have been tough to get over the hump there. So, but it was a special. All right, so Justin, enough of that. Your favorite Super Bowls?
Well, I have 2. Well, there's 3. We could talk about the '85 Bears because I was 10 at the time, and just the energy in the city around that. The Super Bowl shuffle, the fridge, just the whole nicknames everybody got. It became its own, like a TV show that you would just want to engage in at the time. But then moving forward, and I noticed the Bears beat the Patriots, was it in '85? And I think my Packers took care of the Patriots in '96. Sorry, Clay. And that's Favre, and that's that whole Desmond Howard.
Yep.
Oh man, Desmond Howard, Antonio Freeman. He just had the crew, the support cast. And then we'll take it to Rodgers, 2010, when he was fresh and into the heart of the game. Now he's too much concerned. I'm not sure, but yeah, he's not where he used to be. But I still love the Green Bay Packers, and I much as I'm a cheesehead, you will not see me wear one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to wear that thing.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, because when Brett Favre won it in 96, I think you mentioned,
yeah,
was Reggie White?
Yeah,
he was on that team too, right?
Yes, he was.
Man, he's one of my favorite players. He's spent, of course, many years with the Eagles. The guy was unstoppable, a sack machine. So good stuff there.
Beyond the field, what he did. More importantly, what Reggie did.
Oh yeah.
He was a pastor, right? And he didn't speak on that much, but he did so much for his communities. I have a mutual friend that got to play alongside with him.
Really?
And he shared stories in the locker room how Reggie is, and wow, what a missed spirit we have here.
Yeah, that's right. Amen. All right, so Clay, sounds like Justin's got some. We're going to have to really dive into Justin's story vault next time, huh? Yeah. All right, so Geno's going out on the limb. He thinks the Chiefs going to pull it out if injuries don't interfere. Same here, Geno. We're on the same page there. And of course, Grayson, Chiefs all the way. That's right. All right, we got to see pictures of the Super Bowl spread as we leave that topic. Y'all ready to shift gears here? Because I mentioned the Atlanta Hawks, right? Me and Clay, big fans of the Atlanta Hawks. Justin, who's your team?
You can see behind me the Bulls, but I have two teams, if that's fair enough, right? Yeah. Eastern, Western.
Your rules.
The Bulls and the Lakers.
Okay, man.
There's a story behind all that, though. I'll share.
Okay. Have you seen? So, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, we're approaching mid-season with the NBA. The All-Star game is set for Sunday, February 19th.
I can't believe that already.
Man, you blink and we're at halfway. But have y'all seen, before I get y'all, we're gonna get y'all's picks for each conference. Have y'all seen the Showtime series about the Showtime Lakers on HBO Max? Clay, you seen this?
I've caught a couple episodes, yeah.
Oh, it is so good. Justin?
Yeah, I've caught a few too. It's haven't finished it yet, but yes.
Magic Johnson. They just all the different the character actors they picked to play, from Jerry Buss to Magic to Pat Coach
Riley.
Yeah, Pat Riley. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was really such a well done and entertaining series. Y'all check that out. All right, so Clay, Atlanta Hawks. They're breaking our heart since they made the just about made the conference finals a couple years ago. Are they going to make the playoffs this year or not?
So they did conference finals a couple years ago. They beat the 76ers. We broke the process.
That's right.
And blew that up. And, now Ben Simmons has been bouncing around, and he's another athlete that I definitely feel for. I wish he would just find it wherever it is, whatever it is. But, the Hawks, it's becoming a pretty disappointing narrative and something that we're hearing. The news reports come out of turmoil in the locker room. There's problems in the executive office. We have people stepping down, maybe some whispers of some nepotism. And, we won't go into all the details there, but, the players on the court, they're not delivering much of a product either. There's trade rumors going around. You really wanted Trey and DeJounte to mesh, but, we knew it was going to be tricky. I think they make the playoffs. I think they squeak in there, especially with the NBA. It seems like half the league makes the playoffs in the NBA, but my expectations are floored, man.
So it does seem like all the teams make it in the NBA, and you're right. They didn't quite make the finals. They made it the conference, and that was a really hard fought series, but it didn't quite make the finals. And I don't think, Clay and Amanda, you and Catherine check me on this, I don't think an Atlanta team has ever made the NBA finals since they moved here. But Clay, great, man, heavy hitting assessment. You're bringing it today. I feel like you're an ESPN sideline reporter on NFL and NBA thus far. Justin.
I got some notes for you.
I like it. I missed the Hawks. If I could chime in on the Hawks,
please.
There was an era in the 90s and the Hawks were extremely competitive, right? That Spud Webb, Dominican Wilkins.
Oh yeah.
And then it evolved.
Moses Malone.
Correct. I don't understand how they didn't break through then. I could tell you one reason why. But we're not going to talk about the Bulls and the Lakers as of today because my excuses are both in the rebuilding process right now. But the one team that I've always kind of paid attention to because I'm from in this area is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm really amazed in what they have done in these recent, real short span amount of time. And I'm really hoping that they're going to break through one of these days and finish it out.
Yep.
But that's going to be my team for this year.
So we're going to talk about playoffs this year, but I'll make a quick comment here. And by the way, John says the Hawks haven't been the same since Tree Rollins left. I'm with you, John. That's been quite some time.
He used to be an Orlando Magic coach.
It's been some time. And John had us rolling yesterday. Clay, you may have remembered we were talking with Mike Griswold and Kelly Barner, musical themes for global supply chain. And John was talking about how Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne is what was describing. I can't remember exactly how he put it, but anyway, John always brings a sense of humor. But here's a quick observation before I get y'all's picks. And Clay, you and I have chatted about this before, especially when it comes to the Hawks. The Bucks, they epitomize it. Really athletic bigs. I mean, all that length and that height, and folks that can handle the ball and shoot outside, drive the basket. That seems like one thing. A lot of teams are missing, but certainly the Hawks. Clay, your quick thoughts there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And going back to the Hawks, we were kind of in a purgatory there for a few years with Coach Bud, who's now with the Bucks. Yeah. When we had Al Horford playing the center position, and while I think he had always played the 4 because when he was in Florida with Joakim Noah and they won those championships at UF basketball, he was forced to play the 4. But I can't agree more that bigs in general and athletic bigs are hard to come by these days. You look at Joel Embiid and he hasn't broken through there. So Giannis is an otherworldly player. You could probably shrink him a few inches and he's still going to be dominate. So there is one coming up. And I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but the new hottest prospect out of France.
Yep.
Victor Wembanyama, I believe.
Oh, nice.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
He looks like Giannis if you added a couple inches. So he's going to be interesting. The tankathon is happening for him.
All right. Good stuff there. And Justin, I'll get your take. But really quick, the research team says that while in Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks have never won an NBA Finals. The closest they came to winning the Finals was in 69, 70, 2015, and, of course, 2021, which we've been talking about here. In their full franchise history, so, of course, they date back to the St. Louis Hawks. Mm-hmm. They've won the Finals once in 1958 as the St. Louis Hawks. So good stuff there. Thank you, Catherine and Amanda. All right, Justin.
Bob Pettit team, probably.
Bob Pettit team, you think, Clay?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it was after Pistol Pete, but right before they moved to Atlanta.
Okay. Old Pistol Pete Marinovich, right? Maravich.
Yeah.
Todd Marinovich and Pistol Pete Maravich. Okay. Try to say that 7 times fast. Justin, we're talking athletic bigs. Clay touched on a couple of those. What do you think? You think a lot of teams are, if you're the Bucks, you're fortunate. Your thoughts around having folks that are tall and can dribble and drive?
Yeah, that's the game has changed so much. You could look back in the time when Jordan played, the hand checks, that didn't exist, right. And it wasn't a penalty, and the extension of the 3-point line. You're always having to shift because everybody's like, well, it's just basketball. Well, there's so many variables of how you can play. Size this time around is now becoming a part of it. So people are having to adapt to mold. But by the time they adapt, what's going to happen? A new model of movement
change again.
Run. Right, exactly.
That's right.
I think there was only 1 or 2 coaches that can figure out both systems, and Phil Jackson was one. He had that 3-point structured tier to triangle offense. And it worked. As long as you had everybody communicating and working as a team, that's that. They could take anybody on, no matter the size, height, or small, but you have to have the right synergy. So I think by the time these teams catch up, that model's gone then.
Right.
So I'm not sure how they're going to challenge that. I think the Grizzlies maybe could get into the side.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but that's where I see those two teams meet here in the end.
Well, we're about to get y'all's bold picks, but really quick, Clay, maybe the Hawks can invent a rectangle offense, maybe a parallelogram offense. We'll see. Systems win championships, right?
Yes.
Unless you got a Michael Jordan, and then you get system and a once in a lifetime athlete. All right, so let's do this. Courtesy of our friends at ESPN, I've got the current standings as of earlier today after last night's games, which, by the way, the Hawks, I think they won by like 36 points. It's crazy. All right, so this is the Eastern Conference. Clay, I'd love to get who's going to win, who's going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals here.
I think it's finally Boston's year, and that's the easy choice here. But they, speaking of a recent game last night, they beat the Brooklyn Nets by, I think, about 40 points. I think at one point it was 30-3 in the first quarter. Now they are without Kevin Durant. So many little asterisks there, but I think with Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Al Horford's in the mix there too. They've got a lot of good role players. I think this year's finally when they at least make it. I don't know about winning. I think.
All right, that's good. I could get on that bandwagon for sure. Justin, your two picks here.
Yeah, I think the Bucks' biggest challenge is going to be the Celtics. And I think it's going to come down to probably those two to determine who's getting into the fight, depending on the spread once the season comes to an end.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be a lot of times you end up seeing the Eastern Conference Finals being better than the actual finals. It may end up being maybe in that situation. Western, I got to go with maybe Memphis. I just like their energy. I like their ability to play in different types of defenses. So those are my two picks.
Well, good stuff. Here's the Western Conference standings here.
Well, I'm ahead of you. I'm sorry. About that.
You're good. You know exactly where I'm going. So Denver. So I don't know. Maybe I ignore the Western Conference, Clay and Justin, a little too much because I kind of focus in on the Hawks and who they're fighting. But man, Denver, look at the season they're having. 35, and if my eyes aren't failing me, is that 35-16? 35-16? All right. So who's coming, Clay? Who's coming out of the West?
Look at the Sacramento Kings out of complete irrelevance, probably for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm with you on there. Yeah.
And you know who's shooting threes on that team, Scott?
Who?
Kevin Huerter is having a career.
That's right.
When we offloaded him, we couldn't pay enough wings. The Western Conference, I will agree with you here. I'm going to say the Grizzlies. I think John Morant is bound to be the face of the NBA in the next couple of years. They've got some swag up there. I like them too.
All right, the Grizzlies. Justin?
Yeah, Grizzlies all the way. Like I said, there's something about their swag, their ability to be, in different offense, different programs, and they're just moving within the game quickly. They can adapt quickly.
Who is there's a center for the Grizzlies that complements the other player that you are talking about? I'm looking him up really quick.
I remember the old center for the Grizzlies, Big Country. Remember him?
Yes, I do. There's a great documentary about Big Country out there.
You got to share all these great documentaries with us.
Man, I love them. I've got to look up. So Amanda and Catherine, I can't do it here. I'm a bit preoccupied. There's a center on the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a great complimentary piece to Jerome Morant. Okay. So we got your picks in, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. You're locking those in. And yes, as Amanda shares, we do love a good sports documentary. Yes. And along those lines, I'm going to throw another one out there. I watched, Olympic basketball. We're never going to recapture the 92 Dream Team. I mean, that was I don't know if y'all remember, man, watching those games, just seeing the athletes, seeing the world's greatest basketball team ever assembled, probably.
100%.
And just the vibe. I mean, it's just it was so awesome. I can't, but for a while there, after the next couple of Olympics, USA basketball really, really struggled. And there's a great documentary on Netflix called The Redeem Team. And this is about I think it's the 2018, I might get the year wrong, but anyway, it's about Coach K bringing USA basketball back to where it had been, the Redeem Team. And it is a great, great documentary. So y'all check that out.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. So where are we going next? Are we talking baseball next? Man, is it baseball time already? Clay, is it baseball time already?
Pitchers and
Let's
catchers
see.
report, I believe, in 2 weeks, maybe even sooner than that.
That is unbelievable. Hey, Josh, Steven Adams. That's not the person I'm thinking of. Steven Adams, I think, used to play for Oklahoma City. Now he's with the Grizzlies. So, Josh, I appreciate that. There's one other guy I'm trying to think of. Maybe he doesn't play center. I don't know. But, Josh, great to have you. And
Jaren Jackson is their other young, a big complimentary piece to Josh. So that might be who you're thinking of.
Yeah. And, Josh, we'd love to know who you think are going to come out of the East and the West when it comes to NBA. Great to have you here. All right. So back to baseball. Focus, Scott. All right. So Clay, you are a big time Bulldogs fan, of course, Hawks fan, of course, but we are big Atlanta Braves. There we go. That's right. And Justin, you're a big Cubs fan. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
So of course the Cubs broke the streak a couple of years back in a really cool World Series. I think everybody was pulling for them. And they're retooling a bit now.
A bit.
Clay, I wasn't sure I was going to bring this up or not, but man, they signed old Lieutenant Dan's. They got Dansby from us, didn't they, Clay?
They did. Happy for him. You can kind of see that maybe he had spent his time here. Of course, he grew up here. He won the championship here. Freddie leaves. You see the pictures from his wedding, and there's a lot of guys that aren't with the team anymore, his buddies, and he might have looked around the locker room a little bit and been like, I'm ready for something new. So happy for him there in Chicago. But,
Thank you.
We'll be pulling for the Braves every time.
That's right. Well,
I hope he has a career year against every team but the Atlanta Braves.
Yes,
that's right. I'm with you, and I hope he goes on to be a Hall of Famer because we all love him here in Atlanta. Incredible captain, incredible clubhouse presence, incredible skills just in the clutch. But I loved hearing, Justin, I'll get your take on what you're most looking forward to, maybe what he's bringing to the team. But he had a great story talking about his granddad because I guess growing up in the Atlanta area, his granddad was a big Cubs fan, and they would play toss while listening to the Cubs.
Harry Carey, I imagine.
That's right. And so now being able to play for a team that was so near and dear to his granddad's heart, he got really emotional telling that story. So we're pulling for him. Oh,
he's bringing some passion to our team. Thank you, guys.
And incredible hair, as Amanda points out. That's true. All right. So what's one thing that you're maybe looking forward to the most of what Lieutenant Dan's brings to the Cubs, Justin?
The Cubs, ever since they won the World Series, they decided to, I have stats here. How many players are still left with the Cubs? I don't think any. Wow. And it kind of blew my mind. The GM's name is, I can't think of it at the moment, but he came in from Boston, I believe. And we were all excited, and this is it. This is the team. And then it almost reminded us of how it was with the Bulls in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where every year, is Rodman going to sign? Pippen and Rodman and Jackson? What about Jordan? Every year. There wasn't a prolonged contract. And the city of Chicago is just, come on, keep what's winning. So I'm hoping this new rebuilding structuring that we're going to get into will be prolonged.
Yep. Theo Epstein. So you were talking about the guy that came over from.
I love the guy, but he just really made the city of Chicago not like him for a moment.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the 2023 season brings because
we're excited.
Cubs fans have a lot to be excited about. Braves fans have a lot to be excited about. So, and of course, one of my favorite sayings, because it's so true, hope springs eternal. Or I'm messing it up now.
I know where you're going, though.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Basically, every spring, everybody's got a chance, right? Everybody's got a chance. So let's think. So Cubs, see the pitchers and catchers report in a couple weeks, and the season kicks off on March 30th. Man, right around the corner.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe that? So Clay, starting with you, what's one thing, Braves related or maybe not related, whatever, what's one thing you're looking forward to tracking during the spring training?
I'm really excited to see Sean Murphy, who was our big acquisition for the Braves. Multiple new age statistics, WAR and FPIP and all that, have him ranked as if not a top 2 catcher there with JT Realmuto. So kind of flies under the radar over in Oakland, same way that Matt Olson did a little bit. But I think bringing him over here and then having him learn from Travis d'Arnaud as well. He's still a young guy. So I'm really excited to see him and how he really takes control of that battery. In the whole league, I think the reports will begin coming out. But, where is Shohei Ohtani going to end up? Is he going to stay there? Are the Mets going to grab him? Where is he going to go? So I'm really interested to see what happens there too.
Man, the Mets getting anybody else? They are spending some money. And by the way, Catherine is also a fellow Cubs fan. Yeah, we should definitely got to bring your W flag for the backdrop. We got to get you on this. You and Amanda got to be on the next Supply Chain Nerds Talk Sports. Something you mentioned, Clay. You mentioned JT. I can never say his last name. Realmuto, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about that impressive Phillies run? I was extremely jealous. Of course, they crushed the Braves, broke our hearts. Man, that was an impressive team on a mission through the NLCS and into the World Series. Okay, so Justin, what's something that you're going to be looking forward to come spring training?
Well, the cool thing about living in Florida here near Daytona Beach is, you have the Grapefruit League, the spring training. So not only do you hear it through ESPN, but all of our local sports stations, local news networks reports within the teams. So we're getting a lot of behind the scenes information than what's being put on ESPN. So this is an exciting time for people who live in Florida because you could pull up right now. There's just lists of teams that are within a 200-mile radius of where I live. So it's constant information. We get a little behind the scenes scoop before the season starts.
Nice.
Because we're so local. So that's the exciting time about living here in Florida. You get to hear about all these other teams that aren't in your region, but you kind of get predictions ahead of the season starting. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Clay and I headed your way. We're going to take in a spring training game, hang out with Justin, talk shop, and to give some fearless predictions. One thing I'm tracking, Clay and Justin, is the whole Trevor Bauer saga. Of course, the Dodgers cut him, which looks like it wasn't a tough decision. I saw Dodgers team president Stan Kasten talking about it was a consensus, basically, decision. And is anyone – clearly I'm not going to get into all the allegations and all that stuff. Of course, we take that stuff, it's nothing to snicker about, talk lightly about. But is any team going to take a chance and invite him to spring training? We'll see. Clay, if you had to say yes or no to that, what do you think?
I'll give you the same answer that Brian Snicker gave in his last press conference.
What did he say?
Some reporter asked the question you just asked, and he didn't even give it a vocal response. He just
okay, that's fair. Justin?
Yeah, I think things have to simmer down a minute before anybody considers that.
Man, I'm with you. All right, so John thinks Boston's going to give him a chance. Who knows? Now, Catherine says she used to live next door to the Cardinals spring training facility in Jupiter, Florida. I bet that is really what an incredible experience.
It is a beautiful area down there. And it's, as a Cubs fan, my best friend is a Cardinals fan. So
okay. And y'all get along okay?
Oh, when it comes to everything else but baseball, yeah. Okay. It's friendly, loved, fun, but it's definitely some text jabs in the middle of the night.
Well, we should give a shout out, Clay and Justin, to old Preacher Will Haraway. He's the biggest Cardinals fan I know because they just signed Chip Carey, who had been, of course, a Braves announcer forever. And, best of luck, Chip and the Cards.
Isn't that Harry's?
I'm going to miss him.
Isn't that Harry Carey's grandson or son?
It is. And of course, Skip Carey's son. Right. So Clay and Justin, not going to talk bad about anybody. I'm going to miss them in many ways, but I am excited to see who's going to step into his chair and at the mic on the TV game. So we'll see. I'm a big fan of Jeff Francoeur. I mean, the Braves couldn't keep him. Major League Baseball was putting him on playoff telecasts. I thought he was really, really good. You were going to say something, Justin?
Yeah, how important the role of a broadcaster is, especially for sports teams. You become so attached to that personality, that persona, that he gives you the game verbally with the visual. And when that gets taken away, that's part of that brand that you say, and I feel you for that. It's tough to bring in a new announcer, and I imagine that new announcer is feeling the same way. Like, how am I going to fill these ears with this voice that they've been so adapted to?
Now, agreed, but Amanda, for any of y'all living in Atlanta, at least we won't have to see those dumb landmark commercials anymore. Man, Amanda's bringing it today. I gotta agree.
Love it.
All right, so I'm gonna go all the way back up to NBA basketball because Josh has got a prediction. The Bucks and the Grizz,
yes,
is his prediction for the NBA Finals. So I think that's a pretty smart bet, smart money. All right, so as we start to wrap, coming down the final stretch here, and no, we're not going to talk about horse racing. I know nothing about horse racing.
Me neither.
But Clay and Justin really have enjoyed the last hour or so. Clay, if you want to invite folks to talk sports with you as we continue conversations, how can folks connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very active on LinkedIn. If you're in the audience, chances are you get messages or invites from me, and my inbox is always open if you want to chat sports or our other pieces of content as well.
That's right. And just wait. We got a lot more good stuff coming here at Supply Chain Now, sports and lots otherwise. Thank you, Clay. Justin, how can folks track you down?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. That's the simplest way to get in touch with me. And I'll be more than glad to talk anything tech, sports, science, anything.
I love it.
Stories.
Yeah, maybe some stories. That's right, Clay.
Yes.
Although you have told us that if you want the real ones, the NDA comes first, right?
That's right.
We're going to bring you back and talk Walter Payton. I'll
share the picture. I'll bring the picture next time.
And hey, Alan, great to see you here today. Yes, I think he's putting that in jest. How about them Cowboys? Alan, good stuff. I hope this finds you well. And Amanda's going to make it really easy. So we dropped Clay's LinkedIn profile right there in the chat. So you're one click away from him and Justin. And your network definitely will be better off. Okay, everybody. Clay Phillips, Justin Daniels, thank you both. Had a blast. We'll do it again soon. We're shooting for like a monthly Supply Chain Nerds Talk Sports moving forward, making a big, bold bet and commitment. And stay tuned because we may bring some big, well-known sports apparel makers into the conversation, and those right around the corner. So, Clay, Justin, a pleasure. Big thanks, Catherine and Amanda, for all they do behind the scenes. Hey, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this Supply Chain Nerds Talk Sports, the latest installment. I sure did. But hey, everything else when it comes to leadership in sports, leadership in supply chain, leadership in global business, you name it, we challenge you. Hey, deeds, not words, right? We're enough of the lip service leadership. Take the lead, take the football, run with it. We use a little sports analogy to sign off, right? But whatever you do good, give forward, be the change. We'll see you next time right back here at Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.